Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our panel discussion, How Italy is Making the Composites Market of Tomorrow Innovations and Dynamism. Thank you for joining us as we shine a spotlight on the achievements of Italian companies in this sector. My name is Luigi Ferrelli, and as the director of the Paris office of the Italian Trade Agency, I have the pleasure of highlighting the participation of more than 90 Italian companies at this 2024 edition of JEC. 30 of those companies are exhibiting with us within the official Italian pavilion. A huge thanks also to our distinguished panelists that will come afterwards, who will animate the discussion that will be moderated by Roberto FRASSINE, a full professor of polymeric and composite materials at Politecnico di Milano and president of Assocompositi, the Italian Association of Composites. Italy has achieved remarkable results in composite materials over the past decade with an average annual growth rate of 8%. And this growth reflects the strong appreciation of the quality and innovation of Italian composite across various industries. From automotive to aerospace and beyond, Italian composite materials are known for their performance, durability, and sustainability. They are reshaping industries and offering new possibilities in design and manufacturing. But now, to delve deeper into the topic, it is a pleasure for me to give the floor to Marco Borra, Scientific Attaché at the Italian Embassy in Paris, for a few words of introduction. So please, Marco, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luigi. Thank you all. First of all, I want to thank the organizers and especially the colleagues from the Italian Trade Agency that gave me the opportunity to give this very brief introduction. I don't want to waste your time. I'm the Scientific Attaché of the Italian Embassy in Paris. I'm also here to represent the relevance that these events have for the embassy, and also to bring you the greeting from the ambassador Alessandro, that unfortunately, due to other commitments, will not be with us today. As scientific attaché, I was immediately attracted by these very interesting events, but I have to admit, starting from a very different background, because I am by formation a molecular biologist. So this gave me the opportunity to study in order to understand really what composite materials are, what is the environment, what is the market, and what are the players in this field. And I was immediately astonished by some important key points. The first one is the idea that it is possible to combine different material to obtain another one, that basically will have technological performances that are higher than the arithmetical sum, I will say, of the material that it is composed by. It's something like to have to add 1 to 1 and to try to obtain 2.5. It's magic, I think. Another very interesting point is that the fields of application of composite materials are quite enormous, never-ending, from aerospace to automotive to buildings, blocks, everything. And I discovered that also in the technological instrumentation that we use in molecular biology, we are using composite material. I was not aware of this, but now I understand that that's it. And coupled with this very wide range of application, there's also a wide range of players in the fields. I discovered that we have very big players like $1 million companies, but also very small company like family company, I would say family dimension, that despite of their dimension can produce a cutting edge technological level products that often are also coupled by extraordinary design. And I think that Italy in these fields can play an interesting role because design and the beauty and the design is in the DNA of the Italian people. So coupling design and technological research, you can obtain very interesting results. Last but not least, I think that composite materials are by definition ready to circular economy. We have to change our thoughts and not anymore to think about the end of life of a composite material products, but we can think about the end of use, because when that use is finished, the material can be immediately entering in a circular process in which the different components that are in the material can be reused immediately. So this means that basically composite material are by definition green. Maybe this is a bit stronger and optimistic sentence, but for sure we can say that composite material are ready to be green immediately. And this is, I think, one of the most important points to look at if we think the world in we are now living, how relevant is the low carbon footprint and how the green parts of our economy is important. This means that if we look at all these different characteristics, probably the market and the field of composite material, it is really something that we can look with a very positive outlook in the next years. I will stop immediately here. I wish you all a very pleasant and interesting stay and conference. And I immediately leave the floor to the next speaker that I don't remember exactly who it is, but he will came. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to be here. We are ready to start with the second part of this ceremony, which is about contents. My name is Roberto FRASSINE. I'm the president of the Assocompositi, the Italian Composite Materials Association. And it's my pleasure to introduce the next speakers. The next speaker will be myself, and I will present a survey on the Italian market of composite materials that was kindly provided by JEC organization. And then we have three other speakers. I will go in the order of the program. The next speaker will be Vincenzo Castorani from HP Composites. Vincenzo, would you like to come to the stage? He will speak about the evolution and innovation in the high-performance Italian automotive market, the experience of HP Composites inside and perspective. Vincenzo Castorani. Please, welcome Vincenzo. Take a seat. Yeah. The next speaker will be Andrea Ratti, Associated Professor of the Politecnico di Milano, and he will speak about toward composite sustainability in the Italian marine industry. Please welcome Andrea on stage. And last but not least, Professor Luigi Ascione, retired professor of structural mechanics at the University of Salerno and currently convener of the Working Group 4 of CENTIC 250 for Eurocodes of composite materials. He will speak about standardization in the Italian composite building materials market over the past 2 decades. Please welcome Luigi. Ready to start? So that's the first presentation, as I anticipated. It's a market survey which has been conducted by JC in cooperation with many Italian industries. And I will start with some acknowledgements because the sources of information come not only from JC Composites, but also from Estin & Co., which is a strategy consulting firm here in Paris, from Lucintel, very well known international organization based in the United States, and from this very interesting open repository based on international strategic studies of the European Commission, which is called Orbis. These are the first figures of the Italian composite value chain. And you see that our value chain is very well shared among the most important application sectors of composite materials, starting obviously from transportation, followed by construction, consumer, marine, and energy. Unfortunately, currently our production in the aerospace sector is only 1% of the total production in Italy, which has to be compared with the average of 8 to 9% of the worldwide production in composites. So we are slightly behind the average in this sector, but in all the other sectors are very well represented and I would say shared equally among the different applications. As for the raw materials, mainly as a consequence of this situation that was analyzed in the previous slide, most of the raw materials in terms of reinforcement are glass, 78%, followed by a remarkable 10% of natural fibers, and then all other types of fiber follow with only 1 digit. And there is also a remarkable 10% recycled fibers in our market, and this is something which is expected to grow in the next following years. As for the resins, we equally share, almost equally. There is a slight predominance of thermosets, 61%, but still near 40% of thermoplastics are used. And this is not only injection molding, but also continuous fiber structural materials. As for the processes and the products, well, let's start with the semi-finished products. We have 40% of prepregs that are used in our market, and 32% of textiles, and 28% are other types of semi-finished product. And for conversion processes, we have obviously 35% of injection molded composites related to the previous figures, 25% of manual processes, and then continuous and compression molding for the remaining 15%. This is quite an interesting curve which relates the composite market in volume per capita on the vertical axis to the gross domestic product per capita in the different countries. And you see that there is a nice curve, which is obviously a growing curve, non-linear with 2 asymptotic values. And you see that China and USA, which are the 2 main producers, are at the 2 extremes of the curve, and Italy is well located on the upper part of this curve, slightly below Spain, but obviously well below from Taiwan, which is a different game player compared to all the other players in the world. So I will think that we can conclude that we are very well located in the upper range of the development curve. Another very important information is that Italy is by far a net exporter of composite materials. If we compare the size of the market in Italy, 1 billion euros, compared to the market size worldwide, it's 35 times higher. So we are not a major player in the world, but we are importing 0.4 billion euros and we are exporting 1 billion euros. So our exporting market is by far predominant over the internal market. So we are net exporters, as it is said. This is not strictly related to the composite industry, but is interesting because usually the machine tool industry is a good indicator of the market trend. And by looking at the machine tool industry, which is divided here in domestic market, red columns, and exporting market, blue columns, we can say that the Italian economy, in terms of industrial products, has fully recovered its pre-COVID trend. So obviously you see the effect of COVID, but we are continuing developing, obviously, figures for 23 and beyond are projections, forecasts, but we can say that we recovered fully in 22 the pre-COVID trend. And for the composite market specifically, that's the same trend. So this is the estimates up to 2022 and the forecast up to 27. And the units are volumes by kilotons. And you see that in spite of the fact that the COVID had some effect on the market, we are now recovering and is consistent with the previous analysis. The three major sectors are transportation, consumer goods, and construction. The light vehicles production was severely affected by COVID, as you can see from these figures. But if you look at the Italy, these are European figures, so each color is a different country. The baseline, the blue colors, is Germany, then you have Spain, the light green, France, dark green, UK, and Italy, which is yellow. So again, we are not the major players in this sector, but the sector as a whole in Europe has been recovering steadily from the COVID crisis, but did not go up to the previous level. So this is a sector that has been affected, and the effects are going to stay for a long time. But if you look at the growth rate that you expect for the market, compared to the average in Europe, the growth rate before 22 was minus 2.5 in Europe, and it was 3 plus in Italy, and more important, it was minus 0.7 in Italy. But more important is the forecast, in which you see that Europe is 3 plus and Italy is 4 plus. So we are looking forward to fully recover the effect of this crisis in the next coming years. What is amazing is the boat industry, which has experienced the strongest growth after 2015 and was not significantly affected by the COVID crisis. So this is a steadily growing type of industry, and it reached in 22 the amazing total market size of 7 billion euros in total. And the growth, which has been observed in those years, starting from 2015 to 22, is an amazing 30%, so 2 digits growth. One very important sector for composite application in Italy is the building industry. There is a speaker, Professor Luigi Ascione, which will talk specifically about that. But what I would like to highlight is that not only composite materials have several advantages in building and construction, we are also a not very a lucky country in respect to earthquakes. And composites in earthquakes have been proven to be very effective in strengthening existing buildings and rehabilitating damaged buildings after an earthquake. And because 10% of our land is of high risk of seismic, of earthquakes, and an amazing 29% has a medium to high risk. So that's really something that is important worldwide, but is especially strategic for Italy. And we have seen a never-growing market in this sector, although sometimes related to state support. My last figure is on sports. The sport industry has experienced a very strong growth after pandemic, and one very paradigmatic industry is bikes. And you see an amazing jump in the revenues of Italian bike producers. You see some names on the label that made the difference between the 2020 and the 21 market very, very large. The market went from nearly 230 million euros to an amazing 320 growth. And you see all the companies were able to profit of this trend. So now it's time for me to conclude this introduction on our market with some remarks that are obviously optimistic. What we saw is that the Italian composite industry is a net exporter of added value products with composites. Composites application produced in Italy and sold in Italy or international cover iconic examples in all sectors, including the boat industry and the automotive industry. The pictures that you see to the right is the brand new car called Utopia. That is a full carbon car produced in Italy. And there are challenges for composite industry in Italy, which are also valid, however, in Europe. So it's our continent that is under challenge by the competition, not only by natural events, but also by the competition with the other areas in the world. But we saw that our industry is robust and resilient. So we have to be optimistic for the future. And in that we are supported by the European Commission, because the European Commission decided recently to develop an industrial plan, which was never done before. So our politicians up in Brussels, now they have also an active role in the economics, and hopefully they will go for the best. And there is a growing awareness that sustainability is important for our products, and the Italian industry is taking care of that. So with that, I thank you for your attention, and I will give the stage to the next speaker, who is Vincenzo. Vincenzo, now is your turn. The title of Vincenzo's presentation is Evolution and Innovation in High-Performance Italian Automotive Market, HP Composites Insight and Perspective. Please, Vincenzo.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for this kind introduction. It is an honor for me to stand here today on this so prestigious stage in front of this gathering, so distinguished, representing HP Composite as a key player of the composites market, and in particular of the Italian automotive composite industry. Our company is at the forefront of designing and manufacturing components, pushing the boundary of material and technology. And in this speech today, I will try to delve with you across the evolution and across the innovation that composite material brought to our market, to the composite market, in particular to the automotive composite market. And let me start with some general figures. We have just listened to the presentation of Professor FRASSINE, and it's quite clear to us that we have in front of us a brilliant future for the composite market. And I would like to highlight just some data regarding the fact that Europe is playing a crucial role. It's of a pivotal importance, its role in the growth of the composite market. Indeed, we have at least about 19% of the total share of the composite global market. And if we are going to look to the transportation sector, the 21% of the market is up to transportation. And if we are going deeply to the Europe, transportation is expected to continue as the most significant segment of the composite industry. And this is related to the fact that we have, as a European and also, let me say, as Italian, an historical international strength of a company in the automotive market. But why this material became so important for automotive? The reasons are several. Of course, the strength-to-weight ratio is of pivotal importance in crafting some of the most outstanding vehicles, but right now, one of the major drivers of this growth is related to environmental sustainability. I think that this graph is quite underlie quite very well what is the state of the art when we talk about the regulation and the evolution of regulation related to environmental impact across the time. And on a worldwide basis, what we can see is that these regulations are becoming more and more tight when we talk about CO2 emission. So, of course, composite material not only offer a possibility to challenge this task, but they are a solution. So in order to produce more efficient car, we have, of course, lightweight the car, but we have also to create a car that is light, but is also performant. And the electrification of transportation is driving this course, and in the future will drive even more. But right now, where we apply composites in a car, in a vehicle, basically everywhere. This is the real answer. We are able to produce components ranging from structural components to aesthetical components. And of course, I'm referring to the high-end segment when I talk about the car segment. And indeed, the applications are at most high level in one-off car, of course, and they go lower in a series model. But this trend is quite, how can I say, flattening, because the use of composite material is going widespread on all the components of a car. And as an Italian, I think that this graph we have seen also before in the presentation of Professor FRASSINE is quite, we should be proud of this data, because this year is reported a research market in which they analyzed the high-performance segment, I mean the segment related to the long and continuous fiber reinforced thermoset material. And Italy, if we consider as a single nation, is second only to Germany in producing such a high-end application. And I think that this data is very, very, very interesting. But why is this? Of course, when we talk high-end application, I've seen that aerospace is playing a role, but the real role here is played by the automotive sector. And looking and why Italian is so positioned in this segment. And this is related to the fact that we have a long history in the automotive excellence, having embraced and propelled the evolution of composite material over the time. From the vintage allure of the 1960s, where the seed of composite potential began to germinate in the mind of Italian designer, till the modern era, where this material become pivotal in crafting some of the world most outstanding vehicles. The journey from the experimental use of composite began maybe in 1983, the first real serious production with the Lamborghini Countach. The monocoque of this car was made by carbon fiber. From that specific day, we go through a series of iconic cars that marked the paths of automotive industry, generally speaking, ranging from the Ferrari F50, in which the whole bodywork was made by carbon fiber, and going through the Pagani Zone, the Maserati MC12, in which carbon fiber was not only used in producing structural components, but also in producing aesthetical components, till the Alfa Romeo 4C, and we as HP Composite had the proud to be the company who developed internally the carbon monocoque of this car. And this is, can be considered, let me say, as the first mainstream car in which carbon fiber we used to produce a carbon monocoque. So all these applications encapsulate a saga of relentless innovation and passion. And we can be proud of this as an Italian, because this is our DNA. Let me say that this is also in the HP Composite DNA. And the narrative of composite material in the automotive landscape is obviously woven intricately with the story of some of the most iconic brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, and so on. And this is only the main actor of the sector, but we have so many companies in Italy who develop innovation, who develop such high performance application in automotive. Indeed, this was possible thanks to the use of composite material, thanks to the flexibility offered by composites. Designers have been able to produce masterpieces reaching groundbreaking performance through the merge of artisan skill and, let me say, very advanced technology. And at HP Composite, we are proud to be at the vanguard of this evolutionary journey. Our collaboration with industry go beyond the simple business engagement. It's more a partnership with our client in developing such outstanding project. And let me say that each project is not, I can say, basically is an R&D project, because all of these products are quite unique, are one of a kind, and they are so demanding that a really structural effort in designing the components, also in design the manufacturing process is demanding. There is no other choice. And I would like to present you just two case studies that we developed in HP Composite, just to highlight some key figures of how composite material could be brilliantly applied in such application. And this is quite interesting because it is a Ferrari 488 Pista that we produce in HP Composite, and all the bodywork of this car was produced with a mix of technology, because as I said previously, we had to deal with such complex shape. Composite material enables designer to create components so much sophisticated when we talk about geometrical flexibility, and this is really an advantage, because enable a designer to create such beautiful shapes, such masterpieces, let me say, but also enables the designer to bend the aerodynamics or the performance, generally speaking, of this car. And if you look at the rear of this car, you can see the complexity of one of its components, and this is possible thanks to the use of composite material. And this project is quite interesting because we merged 3 different technologies. We produced till to 25 kits per day. And when we talk about high-end application, about high-performance segment, these numbers are quite impressive. And we reached this thanks to a structured, as I said previously, R&D effort in which we merged the autoclave molding with press molding and with a technology that we developed in-house, the air press molding. And thanks to all these sophisticated and advanced technology, we were able to produce such complex shape in such high volume. And another example that I would like to give to you, to your attention, is the Maserati MC20. The roof of this car is produced in HP Composite, and this is not only it's a structural roof, so it's what is called it's a canopy, and this is quite complex, not from let me say a geometrical point of view, because it's quite simple. It's a roof basically, but it's quite complex because it is a structural component which is integrated so many features, and you have to withstand to some high level performance. And we produce this component not only in a carbon look part, not only in body paint, but also as a carbon look part. And you can imagine the complexity to deal with this product when we talk about also managing the thermal expansion, because this product is produced in compression molding with the technology of air press molding, that is basically a compression molding process. And so all these features should be managed according in order to create a product of high performance and of high quality. And looking to the future, what are the new needs of automotive market? Of course, this transition toward more sustainable solution, toward electrification, toward building not only a resilient industry, but also a circular industry. And of course, in this landscape, so many new materials are facing, like biocomposite, like natural fibers, bioresin, also new technology in order to have a sustainable recovery at the end of life of these masterpieces. And as HP Composite, we are working very badly to the sustainable aspect. Our commitment extends beyond the realms of design and manufacturing. Sustainability has became at the core of our mission, reflecting a broader industry trend toward environmental responsibility manufacturing practice. Here I've reported 3 of our project innovation. On the left, we have an electric SUV that was made entirely, the bodywork of the SUV is made entirely by flax fiber. And this runs across a very challenging competition, that is the Extreme E competition. It's a rally competition, and let me say that is a very great achievement to be able to create such bodywork, for a racing car. In the center, you can see a monocoque that we developed for an hydrogen car. This is really a new trend to create a more sustainable automotive industry. And on the right, we have another example of in-house innovation project in which we developed a couple of machines that enable us to recover one of the biggest scrap that we have during our manufacturing process. I mean the cutouts that derive from the cutting phase of the pre-preg rolls. And we were able to create 2 very sophisticated machines that are able to take these cutouts, reprocess, and create a secondary raw material to produce new components. All these underline very well the transformation that our sector is living, and the challenge that we have to face. Let me say that innovation is one of the key distinguished characteristics of the Italian market. Here on the stage, we have some brilliant minds of the university, and we believe deeply that through a structural effort of research, development, and innovation, it's the only way to pursue the ambitious goal that we are in front of us. Indeed, in this landscape, let me mention also another very important initiative that we build up, that is a research and development and innovation center that we created thanks to a partnership with Italian university and also with Italian industry, in order to develop innovation solution to create a greener sector, a greener composite industry. And the focus of this R&D lab is our biocomposite, second life material, and the manufacturing technology. So to conclude, as we look to the future, the horizon is replete with opportunity and challenges. The advance of electrical vehicles is reshaping the automotive landscape, with composite playing a crucial role in addressing the unique demands of efficient vehicle design and manufacturing. The quest for lighter, more energy-efficient cars is more pertinent than ever, aligning very well with the global imperative to curb emission and challenge climate change. So, in conclusion, I would like to underline that the Italian automotive composite market is a microcosm of the broader narrative of innovation, performance, and tradition. And as we navigate through the complexity of this dynamic landscape, of this dynamic industry, we should remain steadfast in our commitment toward excellence and toward the performance. And the journey ahead is fraught with challenge, but it's also brimming with the possibility. And I think that as Italian, we should embrace this journey, and we should drive together toward a future where the synergy between tradition and evolution and performance creates not just cars, but legacies. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincenzo. I would like to thank Vincenzo for the very nice and interesting presentation and for giving us a very optimistic perspective of the future. Now, I would like to invite the second speaker, the third actually, Andrea, Associate Professor from Politecnico di Milano, toward composite sustainability in the Italian marine industry.
Okay, thank you, Roberto, for presentation, and good morning, everybody. I'd like to drive you in some insight related to another field of application of composite materials, which is marine field, and specifically to yacht building, where, as already mentioned, there's a great attention to sustainability in controlling the manufacturing processes. And so I'd like to take here some recent experience from this point of view, because taking into account the specific need of the market, of the field, of the way of applying and using composite material in producing yacht has, of course, different features compared to the market that we just discussed. For this reason, the starting point is this. We know that one of the goals that composite materials has to face is related to manage the waste. And if we look in this chart, we can say that, for example, marine field has an impact that is lower than 10% of the global problem. But for sure, we have to face the specific problem of this field. And so it's for this reason that several research attempts are driving their effort to find solution and managing the manufacturing processes in order to get better results from this point of view. We already know that nowadays there are several knowledge available to manage the end of life of the products. Assocompositi, EUSIA, I mean the Industrial Association produce a lot of material and in order to spread knowledge in how to manage the process at the end of the use of the product. And from this point of view, there are even a lot of initiatives. And as Vincenzo said at the end of his presentation, all the companies has a clear picture that now is not, there's not possibility to do not take care about these. For what concerns the yachts application, several projects in order to take care about this disassembly of the yacht at the end of life were done. And so even from this point of view, there's attention that is related to the design approach of the yacht itself. And so all these will help us in increase the sustainability and reduce the impact of composite products on the environment. But getting in specific topic related to yachts field, this is the picture that we have to take into account. So the dimension of the yacht is increasing year by year, and that means that the number of the yacht produced is getting lower. So we do not have the seriality we can count in the car market. And that means that we have to evaluate if the techniques that we are using are properly for managing a production of small number of pieces, so small seriality. Another consideration that we can have that over the last decades, the approach in designing not the yacht itself, but the furniture, all the functional components on board, in many cases are coming from a freestanding concept. And so this can help us in rethink how to manage the design and even the manufacturing process of this component. Consider that nowadays a yacht could have an amount between 50 to 10 set of molds for producing all this stuff. And for this reason that we took our attention in how to manage the process, the production process of this part. So we can imagine to drive toward a platform that you can see below in the slide. And so the final result is something that comes out from the design of a platform and components that we can manage. And probably we have to take into account how to manage these and how to drive available technologies to produce this component. And the most promising attempt in this direction is to understand how to combine composite knowledge with additive manufacturing. That means free the shape of the component itself, but at the same time look for stiffness, mechanical resistance, lightness, and so on. There are nowadays several experience in using additive manufacturing in yachts application, even if there's not nowadays the possibility to compare the results in terms of performances with the performance that we know very well in composite application. So there are some application for producing molds and are working very well, and the possibility even to reuse the material used for producing the molds. And nowadays the experience coming from the application of these technologies in producing the yacht itself are not so, let's say, relevant from the technological point of view. For this reason, we start recently research funded by the European Commission and the Ministry in order to combine performance with lightness and combining the use of additive processes with composite one. The project is managed with several companies, yard, furniture producer, owner of technology, and let's say the topic on which we are working is how to manage components, starting from the possibility to realize a first party in additive and make a reinforcement with composite materials. This is the base principle to realize panel with ribs, with hollow ribs, in order to give stiffness to the panel, but at the same time having the possibility to have one side free where we can look for aesthetic features. That means we can use plaster, we can sand it and obtain a final surface perfectly refined. This is the basic of the panel. So you can see the rib that you can define from the design point of view accordingly to the need in terms of load of that part. And then you have two options for combining this starting point with a composite reinforcement that could be, for example, reinforce the inner side of the part with composite material, or on the contrary, and probably with a best effect, transfer the typical technology used in relining pipes. That means use composite inside the hollow ribs. And in this case, you can obtain, you can have the same final effect of the component and the reinforcement inside the ribs of the component itself. Nuge company already did some tests to check the performance and especially to have a feedback on the predictability of the performance, comparing composite reinforcement made both with polyester resin and glass fiber and epoxy resin. And as you can see from the chart, we are very close to the trend described by the FEM analysis. So the first prototype that we studied and developed is related to this, a component of this yacht is a Wally Y100 produced by Wally Yacht of Ferretti Group. And we work, as you can see, in one of these functional fittings, which is, let's say, a sofa built with a structure that include different functional purposes. In the process is made, as I told, by a structure of in additive manufacturing. You can see in this picture the hollow ribs that are made directly during the production of the component, and that means that at the end of the process you have already a pre-reinforced panel, that realize the structure that you need. In this case, the component which is just out of the Agora took 35 hours for printing, and the weight of the component is just 32 kilos. That is very low compared to the real component now made from molds totally in composite materials. This result is related to the possibility to reduce the thickness where you don't need to have material, just because you have a thin thickness, but reinforcement where you need. Actually, the component which is here in Jack is not yet reinforced with composite, and we will complete the process over next week. There's just a short video in the production of that part. Of course, all the knowledge should be transferred in redesign the component accordingly to the need of the additive manufacturing process, and the how to distribute the reinforcement accordingly to the forecast loads of that part. But from the design point of view, from the production point of view, you can imagine how you can free the design of the yacht itself and all the functional feature and component that you have on board, and this give different goal and the result and opportunities, because you can have, for example, a different layout for the same yacht, and you can manage this at the same cost, and so you reduce and avoid completely the need of mold and all the production tools that you commonly use to produce this kind of components on a yacht. And this is an advantage for sure for the company itself, but again, from the sustainability point of view, that means that you can avoid completely a lot of numbers of mold for producing probably a few number of pieces. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Andrea, for your very interesting and innovative presentation. So it's my pleasure to invite Professor Luigi Ascione for the last talk this morning, which is about the great standardization achievements in the Italian composites building materials market that were obtained over the past 2 decades. Luigi.
Thank you, Roberto, and good morning, everyone. The aim of my presentations is to summarize the standardization activity developed in Italy in construction. This activity is basic for construction because it's not possible to realize the prototypes and verify a posteriori if the prototype is safe or not. It's not possible to realize a bridge as a prototype and after to verify if it is safe for use. This is the outline of my short presentation. The interest in the FRP materials, in composite materials for construction, has progressively grown in the last 2 decades. The reasons are structural reinforcement. The topics are the structural reinforcement with FRP, the use of FRP rebars in concrete, and the structures realized entirely with FRP components. It is the standalone structures. In particular, the second and the third topic are more recent, and they are in quick development in the world. Italy has published a series of technical documents about the use of the FRP composite in construction, in particular the National Research Council of Italy. And many documents have been published since 2004, and they are downloaded in all worlds about 20,000 times. This is this document range from the strengthening of concrete and masonry structures with FRP. In particular, this document has been translated in English and in Spanish, and I know that also a Turkish version exists, but not issued by the National Council of Italy. To the strengthening of wood structures, to the strengthening of steel structures, in general metallic structures, to the use of FRP rebars in concrete instead of the steel rebars, to the use of pultruded elements in construction, and this opens the field to the standalone structures. Other documents are devoted to the strengthening of construction by using composite with inorganic matrices. This activity, developed by the CNR in Italy, promoted the publication of technical guideline by the Ministry of Public Works, and this activity has promoted the the action from the producers for obtaining some documents for the circulation of their products in the Italian markets. And so the standardization activity has helped the market and the producers. Recently, an activity at the European level started with the idea of the European community to provide the European countries with a Eurocode for standalone constructions. And this idea was born in 2010, and the European community appointed a specific working group, WG4, with this task, and me as a convener of this task. This activity includes 3 steps in agreement with the classical procedure of the Technical Committee CN 250, which is the arm of the European Community for writing and revising the Euro codes. The first step was reached in 2016, and now we are at the second step, the issue of a technical specification that can be used by the designers for designing standalone structures in Europe. The index of this technical specification that you can see in this slide show that the format is the same of the other Eurocodes devoted to different kinds of materials. This activity is completed by two accompanying documents that the authors of these technical specifications are going to publish, a commentary and a collection of worked examples. Here you can see the cover of the commentary, and myself and the colleagues that are co-authors of the technical specifications are engaged in promoting the knowledge of this technical specification in the world. I think that we can give some conclusions. I think that the standardization activity developed in Italy, mainly on the two more recent aspects of the use of FRP rebars in concrete and of the stand-alone structures, can open the market to the use of these materials, and is an occasion for the producer to develop this possibility, as in the past they have done for the systems to be applied, to be used for the strengthening of the existing structures. I think that I have shown the activity developed in Italy, and I hope that actually the producers can utilize these opportunities to have a development of the market in this sector, in this segment. Thank you very much.
I would like you to join me in thanking all the speakers. Thank you, Luigi, for the presentation. And we are perfectly on time. So now in the program, we have a roundtable discussion and the question and answer session with the audience. I would like to start with the second one. So I would like to know if there is any question from the audience that our speakers can pick up, or any curiosity that you want to satisfy. There are microphones in the room, so don't be shy. Who wants to break the ice? Here, thank you. Could you please also say your name and your company before asking the question?
Does it work? Yes. So my name is Claudio from company Eurograde from Italy, manufacturing GRP gratings and pultruded profiles. So very interested in what Professor Ascione said. My question was related to Eurocode. When is expected? Can we expect to have the Eurocode officially presented? Because now we have technical specifications. And a further question, if you want to reply, because it's quite local, if there is any relationship between nuove norme tecniche delle costruzioni and the technical specifications. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your question, or interesting question. The technical specification can be already utilized for designing new structures. And the aim of the European community is to ask designers and stakeholders to use the technical specification, and this trial use can allow and accelerate the adaptation of technical specification into Eurocode, expected by 2026. About as for the second question, it's important in agreement with the Italian building code. It is needed that producers that the producer of pultruded or other things, other kinds of composite elements have a technical evaluation certificate, and this requires the issue of some guidelines for the qualification of these products. I know that there exists a document EN for pultruded elements that can be utilized to issue a specific document in Italy, but it is easy for our ministry to adopt this document and to utilize it as a document for the qualification. Obviously, this requires that the producers, the stakeholders, are active part towards the ministry to obtain this result. And I hope that the producers in this field can do this as soon as possible, as in the past it was possible for the strengthening utilized for as in past it happens for the system utilized for the strengthening of existing structures. It's not possible to give this role exclusively to the academic part, but also the producers have to try to push the ministry to reach this goal. I think I have answered.
Thank you, Luigi. Maybe I can make a short comment on that. I believe the publication of technical specifications in 2022 is the major breakthrough in our industry. These are codes valid all over Europe on a voluntary basis. The third step to convert them into a Eurocode will simply be to convert a voluntary standard into a harmonized standard, which will automatically go in place in all European countries without approval of their national bodies. So that will be obviously an important step, but the major step was the publication of the technical specifications in 2022. So people can already use those codes to design new structures and provide feedback to the CN 250 Working Group 4, which is chaired by Professor Ascione, on their observations and that can be taken into account before publishing them as Eurocodes. So really, I can join Professor Ascione in recommending the industry starting to use those codes and provide feedback to the working group. Is there maybe another question from the audience that we want to pick up before the end of this meeting? No questions? All right, yes, please. Is over there, second row.
Hello, I'm Andrea Filippi from QI Composite, a company that does NDT checking of mainly boats. And I have a question then for Mr. Andrea, which is in the perspective that we are going to start using 3D printing and additive manufacturing in general for more and more parts in the case of yachts or boats. Do you think there's going to be some issues in the case of these boats breaking or going ashore or something like this when you have to repair these parts? Because normally the repairs are quite straightforward in the laminate classical type of building. But in the case of additive manufacturing, I think it could be part of an issue in this case. So I don't know, it's just a curiosity on this point.
Yes, it's work. Yeah, thanks for the question. I think that for sure we have to separate the field of application, because the research we're making is not looking for in changing technology for what concern hull production, decks or structure of the yacht, because I think that we will continue working as we know, because this is the feature that composite material can offer in getting stiffness, lightness, and so on. But in many cases, if you compare the number of production tools that you need in the production of a yacht, you are talking about more than 50% of mold that are for fitting, for secondary structures, for functional parts, and so on. And this is a very great investment, and we do not have the seriality we can count in car market. And so you know how is the value in materials, in money spent in produce mold. So this is the principle that we have to take into account. And for what concerns the possibility to repair, consider that in this kind of application, we are working combining additive with composite solution that we know very well. That means that this part of the component could be even the opportunity to remake, to adjust in case of failure or problem of durability. But from this point of view, I can tell you here even people from Nuge company who already realize several components, hardtop, other ribbon part of smaller yacht, tested not only in laboratory but even in real use, and they had good feedback from the performance that you can achieve in combining the two technologies. So for sure this will be an issue, but we are at the starting point, and so there's no relevance there's no evidence in so much application in order to verify what could be the problem that we have to face in reparation of part. But I don't think it's so hard to imagine, because it's the composite the solution to work as well in when you have a laminate that you have to repair. So we are not so far. And even for what concern the finishing of the surface, again, we are following the step and the procedure that we follow in composite finishing. And so it's not so difficult to imagine how to manage the process and gain the advantages that we can have combining the two technologies.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to finish with one last question from the audience. If there is any volunteer willing to ask a question to our speakers. If not, I would like to conclude with a couple of questions for the three of you. One question is, we saw that the picture we have of the Italian industry of composite materials is very good. We are looking to a bright future. We are resilient. We resist to problems. We are innovating and also creative. That's what you expect from the Italian people. But what's, in your opinion, the major challenges that we face in the near future? Maybe Vincenzo, would you like to start with trying to tell the audience what you see at the horizon of your sector?
This is a big
As a
question.
challenge, yeah. I know.
It's not so simple answering what is the challenges, because I think that we don't have only one challenge, but we have lots of challenges. And all these challenges is basically related to creating performing components along with sustainable components, because this is what Europe are asking us. So this is what the world are asking us. So this is quite tricky, because right now we are, how can I say, we are used to creating composite, creating components looking only to the performance aspect and not to other aspects, such as indeed the environmental aspect. So I think that the real challenge will be bring several aspects during the design phase in creating something that is sustainable not only from a mechanical point of view, but also from an environmental, on a societal point of view. This is another important aspect. And of course, we are industry, so also on an economical point of view. So I think that's the real tricky part will be this, merge all these several aspects and trying to find the best solution, trying to find the best trade-off with these aspects that on some way are quite conflicting among them. So I think that this is...
Okay, that's very clear. So the cutting edge will be three pillars: cost, performance, and sustainability. And maybe we will discover in the near future they can come together in only one type of approach. Andrea?
Yes, I agree for sure. If we look at the composite field in general and the application in the yachts field, for sure the sustainability is a target, is something that we can't anymore postpone. We have several experience from this point of view. All the companies knows very well that the circularity of composite is one of the target for the future. As Vincenzo said, composite, how we managed it till now, start from valorizing the performances of the components, of the application of materials, and having components with a very high performance. But at the same time, we can drive this attention in the evolution of the manufacturing processes, because the possibility and the flexibility on how to use composite is the great advantage that these materials can offer compared to the other materials. So I think that in the future perspective, the possibility to obtain effective solution, both from the sustainability point of view, but at the same time, as you said, in terms of cost and productability, is one that we have to manage and test and find solution for that.
Thank you. And Luigi, you want to add something in such a highly regulated sector like construction, in which you correctly said you cannot prototype a skyscraper or a bridge, and then you have to follow rules and codes. What are the challenges that you see in the near future?
The true challenge is to use composite materials not only for strengthening existing structures, but only to realize new structures. For instance, to use FRP rebars in concrete and to realize standalone structures made with composite. And this is important for reducing the cost of maintenance and to accelerate the processes of realization because of the weight of these kind of structures. These some problems can be seen in the administrative procedures, but I think that if the producers are active, this administrative procedure and the relationship with the ministry can easily be overcome, and also with the help of EUSIA, with the help of Assocompositi in Italy, and with the help of the academic part, but not only. Okay.
So thank you. So it's time to wrap up this very interesting session. So I will like to say that we should stay in touch because we have challenges in the future, and the associations and the industry and the academic has to work together to make sure that Italy stays on the edge of the production and innovation in those very interesting and high-performing materials. And I'm pretty sure that if you continue in this direction, we will get great achievements in the future. So before letting you go, I would like to invite you all to the reception that will start at 12 o'clock at the Italian Pavilion, which is a few steps away from this room. So please make sure that you are all there for the ITA reception at the Italian Pavilion. And then I would like to join our speakers and all the audience to thank for this very interesting and interactive session. So enjoy the JC show, but also the reception.